A study into the history of the Great Barrier Reef has revealed it's teetered on the edge of extinction in the past and recovered. Scientists say core samples from an ancient reef show the current one could survive a sea level rise similar to that currently predicted, but they warn it's facing extra challenges this time round.
Some of the key climatic challenges facing the Great Barrier Reef aren't new. Marine geologist Dr. Belinda Decknick is part of an international team examining ancient core samples drilled from deep within the reef.
The past is the key to the present.
The core samples are valuable time capsules from a period known as the last interglacial, which came after the second last ice age.
So this is a piece we've dated, so it's about 121,000 years old.
Back then, water from melting ice sheets was inundating coastlines around the world. For the reef, it was nearly fatal.
The reef almost drowned just prior to 129,000 years ago. Sea level was rising very rapidly, and the reef was actually not able to keep up.
Dr. Decknick says the conditions that almost led to its demise then are similar to those facing the reef today.
Sea levels were slightly higher, sea surface temperatures were slightly warmer than they are today, and they're in the levels that we have projected in the future.
If you look at the forward projections in the next 100 years or so, where we're expecting at least a metre of sea level rise, depending on the rate of fossil fuel burning. But I guess the modern reef, I think, would be able to keep pace with those rates of sea level rise.
But the team's concerned the modern reef is facing extra threats that might prove the tipping point this time.
The Great Barrier Reef 125,000 years ago wasn't dealing with impacts of humans, so it didn't have as much terrestrial pesticide runoff, it didn't have to worry about dredge spoil and things like that. So these are now additional factors that the reef is now going to have to be able to overcome.
The state and federal governments acknowledge the critical importance of water quality on the health of the reef and say they're committed to reducing threats through a comprehensive 35-year plan. Meanwhile, the scientists plan to expand their study to give decision makers more accurate tools.
We're trying to develop computer models and computer simulations of how reefs grow, and then ultimately try and make better projections or simulations about how reefs might respond in the future.
We know that they can come back. They are resilient species, and I think that if we take the right measures, they'll be around for the next generations.
Using a past near-death experience to bolster survival in the future. Kathy McLeish, ABC News, Brisbane.